Hi, everybody. It's me, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions, LLC. We are the creators of AthleticSOS, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we move forward. So in this one, you're a high school athlete, and you have a coach, which is one of these three things. This is your problem. Your coach is either a jerk, they're intractable, or they're a hero. And so we want to figure out how do we navigate this and what can you do about it. And this is going to be really, really important for you guys because I've had this opportunity the last couple of years. I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I tell you for most of the stuff that we talk about. Since 2020, it has completely changed. And I know you guys get tired of hearing me say that, but I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what you can do about it just in general. The reason I keep on saying that everything has changed, that you actually have more control than you think you do, is because of technology. In 2020, because there was that gap between 2020 and 2021, you weren't going to school. How was a college coach going to even see you? How were you going to get an opportunity to play at the collegiate level? That little hiccup right there kind of changed the way high school sports is played. And it changed how college coaches reach out and try to find players for their programs. And I would say the player also has less control, but the coaches, high school coaches, actually have more control. Even when my kid was playing back in 2006 through 2010, that area in there, my two kids, the high school coaches, everything is kind of changing even back then. But as the years went through, it used to be, when I was a kid, that the high school coach was a teacher on campus, right? They were one of the teachers. They could be the physical education teacher, they could be the math teacher, the English teacher, but they had some connection to the school. Very hard to do anything with them. And you had a lot of coaches who were not really coaches in the sense that they had trained for it, that they had gone to school for that sort of thing, or that they had a lot of track history with winning. They were putting the program on together, and they were just part of the school, and there was nothing really you could do there. And then I noticed when my daughter played, during her years, my daughter was a really good player, and that's how I got into this whole thing. You guys know the story, that I didn't know what to do to help her get an athletic scholarship for basketball. But the interesting thing was she played her freshman, sophomore, and junior years under one coach, and then that last summer we went out because we were trying to get her, we went on the circuit because we were trying to get her an athletic scholarship, and we followed the rules that her high school coach had set up. And I'm just going to go over this really quickly. Her high school coach was a former junior college coach. So he told me how he did it because he sent so many kids on to four-year schools from the junior college. So we went through that routine. And then I had set back and I said, wow, this is really working. We had a lot of coaches interested. We went on the circuit with a really cool team. And she ended up getting a full ride athletic scholarship, a D1 scholarship. She was a good enough player to get that. It wasn't like we did anything, but she didn't go to the top school in our area. We had two schools in our area, and I wanted her, from my childhood, I wanted her to be able to walk to school or ride a bike to school and go to school with the people in her neighborhood. Nearby, we had another school that was the top girls basketball school. Everyone says I should have sent her there. I think we did fine. I'm not unhappy with the way things turned out. She ended up going to the college that really fit who she was. And the competitive point guard for that school, who she was in front of, she was a year in front of, that her college coach actually wanted, was waiting for, and was not going to get my daughter. The assistant coach wanted my daughter. He was not going to get her. They actually became best friends. They were there to fight for that spot when that freshman came in, and everybody just assumed that he was going to beat out my daughter. My daughter held her spot, but they became best friends. In fact, she was the maid of honor at my daughter's wedding. And so it doesn't matter where you end up. It just matters that your path is true to what you're trying to do. You got to walk the walk, I guess the best way to put it. And so those are three things. So your coach, are they a jerk? Are they intractable, or are they a hero? So let's talk about those three types of coaches. That jerk coach is really the coach. It's what almost everybody, when I did all these talks and I went around and I showed the software to a lot of people, showed them how to get signed up. I went to a lot of camps this year, all kind of different sports, and I asked questions. And the same thing kept coming up. That coach is a jerk. And it was usually the players that weren't getting an opportunity to play, even though they thought they had the talent. And I don't know how good they were because I was always in the classroom or off-site from where they were playing and working out. So I didn't get to see a lot of how good people really were. And I don't know how good the other players on the team. But what I was hearing a lot of is nowadays the high school coach actually is a travel club coach. And they've got a bunch of different levels, and they're just bringing their kids in to play. And so the kids that grew up in the neighborhood where the high school wasn't getting a chance. And so you had to go and be on that high school coach's travel club team, or you were kind of going to be out of luck. And that's kind of the way it was. And if you were super talented and your high school coach didn't happen to be a a travel club program. All of the good kids wanted to go to that other school where the coach had some, they had really good teams because they had trained these kids. They knew what they were doing. They all worked together. They had been working together for years, and they were just winning. They were beating the regular high school teacher, coach type situation. And so you had to make a choice. If you're a really good player, do I stay with my high school that's in my neighborhood, or do I go over here to the super team, become part of them? And that's going to give me the best chance to get an athletic scholarship. Even to this day, the college coaches are always going to check with your high school coach at some point, check in with them. Doesn't mean they won't give you an athletic scholarship, but they're going to ask, how are you? How's your attitude? They may come see some of your games. So imagine that you're on a team that is always losing, right? You decide you're a talented kid. You played great travel club program, whatever you did. You went to a combine, a showcase, a viewing tournament, caught the eye of that coach, and then they come to the high school and you guys are losing. You're doing pretty well. Is that good enough, though, for that coach to say, I want to come? I think that is the best way to do it. That's my personal opinion. Now, let's take that same player and say, okay, I'm over here at my school, my neighborhood school, but this school over here kind of likes me. They want me to come over. They're really, really talented. Should I go over there? You go over there, you get to play with a better set of players. You're going to win a lot more. Maybe you're going to win league. Maybe you're going to win your regions. Maybe you're going to win the state title, right? It's a great opportunity, very exciting, cool things to do. It doesn't matter which way you go, but if you go there, you need to make sure that you're going to play because you just left a situation, and we'll talk about that a bit later, but why come all the way over here to sit on the bench? And yes, you're going to get better training, better coaching and all that, but I don't think that necessarily makes a big difference, but I don't think it's a bad thing to do. I just like the first one, and maybe it's because that's the route that I went, and so maybe I'm a little biased on what we were trying to accomplish there. But if you go over there and you don't get to play, are you still okay? I think in college that works because if you go to the top school, even though you may be the backup or you only get a little bit of run until you get to your senior year or whatever's going on, the professional coaches are going to say, hey, this kid was good enough to be over there and we see the spark, but your college coach is saying, hey, this kid is going to be in front of you. You're just going to have to put your time in, but they're recruiting behind you, and that's the thing you got to remember. So anyway, so you have to make that decision. But the reason they keep calling the coach a jerk is that coach has a no input policy from parents, from the players. They don't want to hear it, right? That's what makes them a jerk. You're either going to play or you're not going to play. There's no going in. There's no going to the athletic director. There's no going, getting all the parents together. And none of that's going to happen, right? That coach runs this, and they have been there. If they've been there for a few years, there's nothing worse than a bunch of parents that are coming in with talented kids that want to tell you how to run your program. They just don't want to hear anymore. And so they get this reputation as a jerk because they don't have an open door policy. You make an appointment. The only time we need to talk is if your kid is having some disciplinary problems or I'm about to kick them off and I'm letting you know and giving you a warning. But other than that, we don't have much to talk about. And so for the parent, for the kid that's talented, that's on this team, that wants a chance to play and they're not getting a chance to play or even make varsity, maybe you can, at that point where you're not even making varsity and you want to know why. You want to know what can you do? What can I do extra? As the player, you can ask. You probably have to ask the assistant coach. But that head coach, a lot of times, it's just off. There's nothing they can do. They've got so much talent around that, of course, a lot of people aren't going to be happy. And so they get the level of being a jerk. And on top of that, they can start getting arrogant. They can think it's them, not the players. And then they believe that I know what I'm doing. And if I say it, it goes. And maybe they are a jerk. But most of the times, I don't see too many people, especially as a coach, that's really that big of a jerk. They just have this no input policy from people coming out. So the one that I'm more concerned about is that intractable coach. Now, that's the one where I'm not quite sure. When my daughter went to go play college, the college that she went to go play for, I remember the coach there didn't even want my daughter necessarily. He wasn't against her, but he had his eye on somebody else for the next year. And he was willing to wait because that point guard position really is a special position for college coaches. You have one captain, one leader of the team, one person who has the ball in the hand most of the time. And so they don't want to get too much. He knew what he wanted, right? So he was willing to wait. He already had somebody there that could handle for this year. They would be just fine. But the next year, he wanted to make sure he was secure. But that assistant coach insisted so much. He told me this, he goes, I will put the best players on my team on the floor together. I don't care if they're all guards. I don't care if they're all forwards, whatever they are. But I changed the style that we're going to play based on who I have, and I can do that. He had been doing it for over 20 years. And so he was not intractable. What I have to work with is what I work with. And that to me is a sign of a good coach. But an intractable coach says, this is our style. This is how we do it. You take it or leave it. Come and go. Do whatever you want to do. And that leads to a lot of kids that are from the neighborhood or play a certain way. You're too slow, you're not big enough, you're not this size, whatever. They can't work with that. And so that type of coach, you're going to have to make a decision as a family, right? Do I move because it doesn't make sense for me to go here? Because that coach is not going to give me an opportunity. I'm not tall enough, I'm not big enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not whatever it is that I need to be. That coach can't work with me. I just don't fit what they do. So there you have to be really, really careful as a parent, as a family. You got to make that decision. Is your kid going to go there and try to work through it, try to convince that coach to do it? And if they're an intractable coach, I just don't see that working out very well for you. And then finally, there is the hero coach. I call it the hero coach. And the hero coach is usually, from what I've seen so far, where everybody loves this coach. They really get with the parents. If the kids are from sort of a tough family background, some things aren't going well for them, this coach kind of can talk to them. They can sort of the player whisperer, you can call them, sort of thing. And so they can get to these kids, they can get them to play probably above their level for the most part. And if they're having some kind of academic trouble, whatever, they can motivate them to kind of improve on just their overall who they are and their education setup, get their grades up, all the things that you want to do and make those kids feel better about themselves as they leave that program. They're just better off for it. One of the problems with the hero coach is usually they don't win a lot. The kids that are super talented, usually that hero coach for the smaller schools and things like that, they don't have a lot of talent. So it's a little easier to be a little bit more benevolent towards the kids. And they do that and they use that. And it's a great situation unless you're a super, super talented kid. Now, do you want to win? Are you better off going to another school? You have to make that decision. And again, you can be a big stand, a big fish in small pond sort of thing, if that's going to work out for you. But if you don't have any talent around you, it's going to be tough. What I have found is that most coaches have a mixture of those. What you're looking for is that 30, 30, 30, and then, you know, that gets you to 90. And the 10% is this coach can coach. They know what they're doing. They're getting a little bit of a jerk. They're a little intractable. They got some stuff that they think this is the way we do things. But they've got a heart for the kids, and they understand that the kids that are frustrated and the families that are frustrated, and they're going to work with them and try to figure it all out. But that 10%, they understand the game, they know how to coach, and they can get your kid to where they want to do, and they're willing to work with your kid. And that's kind of where we come in. Again, so when I started this, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions LLC, we are the creators of AthleticSOS. And so AthleticSOS is software that's going to help you kind of navigate this thing. Because what we do is we take, you use our software, you put in your academic information, the sports you play, the level you believe you can play at the collegiate level, and then we tie all that together and we show you the schools that you're academically qualified to attend that have your sport and offer athletic scholarships for your sport. And we do everything from NCAA Divisions 1, 2, and 3, which you don't get athletic scholarships, but you still get money to go to the school. And we have both the NAIA levels, right? They have NAIA level 1 and 2. And then we even have the junior colleges that actually will give you money and books and things like that to come to their school, room and board. And so if you have those schools, you're going to have to switch your mindset a little bit and reach out to those schools. Tell them where you're going to be, where you play, let them get to know you, and then they will come and see you play. So even if you're doing something in the summer or you're playing for your high school and you don't get a lot, they can see all of that because they know you want to go to their school. They also know you qualify to go to their school, which is a big deal. And so they're going to give you an opportunity to prove one way or the other. You're going to give them access to some video of you, full game, all-star type things, you know, highlight plays, things like that. And they will make that decision. So all of that being said, that's kind of in a nutshell where you want to go. But one of the things we've been trying to do at Sports Solution, and I'm really big on this, I want you guys, the kids, I want you guys to think beyond. So all of that, you're trying to get this athletic scholarship, but what else could you do to set yourself apart from everyone else? And remember, our goal, our long-term goal is that you're going to take your athletic ability and you're going to take that and you're going to leverage it so that you can end up with a remarkable life. So that journey getting up to the point where you can make that high school team, make that varsity team, maybe get an athletic scholarship offer. What are you doing between there to get past that so that that frustration doesn't come in? Here's something else you can be thinking about. Now, let's say you're in a program where it's just not going your way. That coach is not giving you a good opportunity. Yes, you're going to be on varsity, but you just can't seem to move up. You can't get out of the doghouse for this particular coach. But what if you walked in, you just changed your attitude, you just switched your attitude and you walk back in there and you said, okay, listen, I know I got uphill battle. I don't want to leave this school to go to that school over there and have to go through this all over again. I'm not even playing here. So if I go to another school, are they going to let me play? Are we going to be winning? Are we going to, whatever the situation is. But what if you walked in there and you looked and you said, okay, where's the hole? How do I get an opportunity to get on this field, on this court, in competition for this coach? What do I need to do? And sometimes there's nothing. You can't even figure out what it is. But I think almost every time there is a way to get there, you just don't see it. And this is one of the things I want you guys to start doing. When I say think beyond, what do you see that everybody else is not looking at? Everybody's complaining and crying, especially your parents. They're trying to go to the AD. Everybody's trying to get there. And imagine if you got to the AD and the AD came and talked to the coach and the coach says, okay, you know what, this kid can be on varsity and maybe I'll give him a few minutes, but now I'm upset as the coach. And so you think I'm really going to give you a fair shake? I'm not. And you're not going to get that coach fired 9 times out of 10. But what can I do to walk in there and get an opportunity to get on this field on this? I got to see it. I got to know what it is. This team every team needs something. And what can I do for that team? And if it's not a team, it could be my attitude. It could be the way I practice. The coach is telling me something over and over again that they don't see. Maybe I did ask and they said, well, you know, I don't like the way you do this. I don't think you have what it takes. Did you work out this summer, this spring, off season? Did you get yourself better? Did you watch the people that they're allowing to play, that they have on the field, on the court, on whatever the competition is, in the pool, whatever you have going on? Did you watch them? Did you go work out with them? Did you go work out with somebody at a higher level? Did you find out where the college players are playing during the summer or on off season? Did you get them? Did you go find a better trainer, somebody that can train the way your body is shaped, the way you move, the way you do things, that they can say, okay, you want to play, you want to get on this team, you want to start, you want to get more time? Here's what we need to work on. You can't be this position. You're going to have to be this position, and we're going to have to re-rig everything. Were you willing to do all that? Did you go out on your own? Did you get your exercise? Did you start being healthier? Did you eat better? Did you get faster, stronger, bigger? Whatever it is, did you learn to think the game? Do you understand the game? Did you study enough that when you come back, that coach doesn't even recognize you? When it's time to get in there for that first day, your attitude is different. You're like, okay, I know I was fighting. I thought I was talented enough. I think I'm good enough, and I probably am good enough, but you weren't letting me play. So I made some changes so that I can get out there. Can you do that? And if you've done that and they don't give you a chance, then you don't worry about it. Now you have some other alternatives. I necessarily don't think you should have to leave the school, but you can make that decision yourself. But maybe you're going to have to start at the JC. Or maybe you're going to have to, especially if you're not a senior yet, maybe what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to grin and bear it for this year, but you did improve and you did see the hole, and you are showing during the season in practice and everything you're doing, you still got a good attitude, you're still working hard, and maybe you can go in there and make life better for the rest of the team. And by that, I mean that whoever are the stars, the minute you're on the court, if you have any opportunity to play with them, maybe in a practice, maybe they're moving people around and shuffling people, can you make that person a bigger star? Can you run interference for them? Can you put them in the best position? When they are in that position, can you make sure they get open, or they can, the hole is a little bit bigger, that you work harder? Is there something that your position has to do on top of their skill piece of it that you have to go pick up? You're a wide receiver, you're a great blocker. You're an offensive lineman, but you can pull really good, or you can get downfield, or you hold your blocks a little bit longer. You're a defensive player, your motor is going. You never give up. You stay in your lanes, you hold your side. Whatever sport you're playing, you're in tennis, you're a great baseline player, but now you've changed up a little bit, and now you can go to the net and you can play closer to the net. Whatever it is that you need to do to make that coach say, hey, this is not the same kid, and you have a great attitude on top of it, that is it. Maybe you're the star of the team. Your attitude has just changed now. Let me see if I can get a couple of these other players athletic scholarship opportunities. I'm going to let them raise their stats instead of just me going and raising mine. I'm going into my junior year, my senior year. I'm pretty good. I got things going on. But all of a sudden, I decide, hey, I'm going to help a few of these other people out. This kid's averaging 6 points a game. Let's see if we can get them to 10 or 12. They can do these things. I just have to get them the ball because I have it. Or I just have to make this play for them. I got to throw them the ball. I got to throw more on the flat. And I am the star on the team. I have the coach's ear a little bit. Hey, I've been noticing, Johnny or Susie over here is really working hard. Their hands are much better this year. What is there something we can do to incorporate them a little bit? I think they can take some pressure off of me. That is a leadership position, and that shows up when that high school coach talks to those college coaches. You're just a different kid than everybody else. And if you can get this in your head, and this is what I want to try to do for you guys as the kids, I want you guys to get into the habit of saying, how, for the rest of my life, if I can get this right and things work out for me, and there's no guarantees, but you can do all this stuff and it doesn't do anything, you don't get a chance to play as the star player, that other kid doesn't get that many more points, it doesn't work out, the coach says no, whatever it is. But the fact that you had that thought in your head on how you were going to move forward is going to change you for the rest of your life. It will infect you, almost is the best way to put it. And you'll become that person where you go, wow, you know, the minute I change just a little bit of how I approach this thing, of how I go about it, I'm not the victim necessarily, even though I am the victim. You know, it's funny, people actually do get messed over. They actually are a victim, but everyone will tell you, hey, don't act like a victim. You know, it's not doing you any good. And they're right, it's not going to do you any good. There are some moves you can make, but if you can change your attitude a little bit, other people see it. And that's the thing that you don't get, because they don't say anything. But people see that. People will talk about you. There'll be whispers about you. Hey, this kid's got a great attitude. We need to do something. Hey, this kid's working so hard for them and they're not even giving them a chance. You can see the talent. Maybe we can try to recruit them away from them. Maybe that's another coach somewhere else that'll give you another chance. Maybe when you go back to your travel club team, your attitude, that change, is going to make you stand out, and you're going to get even better. They're going to do a little bit more work. Maybe the assistant coaches see you working so hard. They're putting a word in for you with the head coach. They're going to say, hey, you want to stay a little bit later? Let me work on this with you. You'll see them start to switch, how they're trying to get you to that next level. And it's all just because your mindset, the way you change your mind, just changed everybody else's perception of you. And that's what you're trying to do in life. And I get it. You don't want to be the martyr. You want to walk around. You don't want to be treated like crap. I am not telling you that's what you want to do. But what I am saying to you is you're going to have to make a decision. You're going to have to make a decision for your whole life. Am I going to be the person that's going to find that hole, that opening, that my eyes open? Am I going to be able to say, this may not even work out, but this is just who I am? I'm setting a standard for myself. Because if you can set a standard for yourself, you set a standard for your family as you move forward. If you decide to have a family, yeah, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, but you have to have standards, because you're going to find people that you want to be with. Maybe it's going to be your spouse. Maybe it's going to be business partners. Maybe it's going to be the job you take. You're going to make a decision based on, this is who I am. This is where I want to be. I don't want to just be successful financially, or I'm in the right club. I'm the right. Do they meet my standards? And if you start having that life where people have to meet your standards in order for you to be involved with them, you change everything. That's what I'm talking about when I say a remarkable life. It starts right now. The number one culprit for all of the things that I see going on are the parents. And I'm not blaming you parents, I'm just saying it out loud. You guys, if you wanted to fix the super teams versus all the kids playing at their local high school, that's the parents. The parents are moving their own kid. I don't care if the kid even asked to do it. The parents have made this decision. And there's not a lot you can do, because as a parent, your number one fear is messing your kid up. I know it. I was there. I know you like, hey, this situation is here. We got to go. We got to go do this. We need to get this coach let go. We need to not be here. Even we have to move. Whatever we have to do, because you don't want to mess your own kid up. I understand. I'm blaming you without blaming you. I don't know a better way to put that. I get it. But this is where you're going to have to make a stand at some point. You can't sit and complain about a lot of stuff and then not hold your ground, not have a standard. Hey, here's what we're going to do. Even if it doesn't work out quite the way we want, we have a way around that. Maybe you're going to go to a JC. Maybe you're going to go to a smaller school. Maybe you're going to go to a D3, an AIA school. You can still have a great life. You can still have a remarkable life. And you could transfer. If it really comes to the point where your kid gets to college and they show off, you can see that they don't belong at this level, there should be another level, go into the transfer portal, change schools. You can do that. It's not the end of the world. You don't have to be on the state championship team. You don't have to be on the team that won league. You just got to hold your own. If you're the star of the team, you can hold your own. You can make your other players better. That may set off better for you than anything else. And if it doesn't make it better for you as far as the level of athletic scholarship you offered, it will make a big difference in your kid's life, that leadership ability. It really changed my daughter 100%. She was the leader of that team. She's like the second rebounding. She's leading in assists. She's leading in points. She's leading in steals. And it's a wide gap. But a couple of those other girls ended up getting athletic scholarships. Now, they didn't get D1 scholarship. Well, one did get a D1 scholarship. But they went on to play somewhere. But they had a great time. And we still, the parents in the neighborhood now, we're still all friends. The girls are still friends. And because you went through something together. And my daughter's moved on to play. She's married. She's giving me a grandkid. I'm cool with it. But the person she is, I see it. And it's because we set a standard for how we do things. Yes, everything's not going to be perfect. Yes, we're not going to always get to go and be on the big fish, small pond. And I'm sure all the other girls did fine. They've got their championships and everything. But I'm going to tell you this, 99% of those medals and those things, they're in a closet somewhere, right? And then you've moved on. You didn't go pro. You didn't do all this. So you've moved on. Your life has moved on. Those things are collecting dust. But who you are, why you made the decisions you made, and how you make decisions now all came from what you decided to do in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade in those years, because you wanted something and you were willing to forego what you knew was the right thing to do or the right place to be, or you wanted to make certain something was going to happen. And sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. I'm not saying you don't make those choices, because that could be part of what you do is, hey, we want to go for the brass ring. We want to go to this college, not that college. But I'm here to tell you, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters one bit. Yes, you may be able to get through a few more doors, but the fewer doors you get in because of some standard that you met for other people, if other people can drive where you end up being and what you're going to do, they can also take it away. And so what we're trying to do with this next generation of kids, we want them to start working together, get with a group of people that went through something together. Maybe they overcame something, or maybe they all went through it at the same time. They went on with their lives. Maybe they're going to connect back again later. If your kid is a talented, and I usually get most of the kids that are trying to get athletic scholarships, most of the people that use our software, their kid could be the better, it could go D1, but they're not getting the opportunity, and they want something to do. But usually they're D2, D3, NAIA, but they're getting better. They're just catching up. They didn't have that early push for themselves, but they're getting better. They're a better athlete. They got bigger, faster, stronger, smarter about the game. And now it's a little bit too late to kind of cross over to get the high level schools looking at you, because they were already looking at you when you were a top kid in the 8th grade, 9th grade, right? So you still have time, but you still can get that opportunity. But it's bigger than that. And that's what we're trying to get you guys to understand. It's bigger than that. Whatever the situation is, you don't let yourself get blocked. You always have a path out. And so it could be the high school coach won't let me play. I'm going to get on the right travel club team. I'm going to improve my game. I'm going to get social media. The coaches, once they know your name and they may be interested, they're going to start looking for you. Can they find you? Do you have something out there? Do you have your personality is showing out on the camera? Get your parents' permission to do all of this stuff. But that's what life is going to be for you guys. It's not the same as it was before. And if you guys get that, you can change everything for the better. All right, guys, the sun's kind of coming up over here, so I don't have the filter on the camera, so I'm going to end this. But here's what I'm saying. Go ahead and use AthleticSOS so you can find the schools, let them know where you're going to be, and let's switch that around a little bit. Continue doing the other stuff that you're doing. Down below, I give you the code. I give you instructions for how to use the code. Use the software. It's there for you. No cost to you guys. You guys listen to me babble in this park, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm getting a lot of opportunities from this, which is crazy to me because I don't see that many people, it looks like, that do this. I just put this up on YouTube and see what happens. And we're starting to get a following. I'm starting to get some responses back from stuff, but people are using the code. And that's what I'm most proud about, that we're actually doing something on our own. So it doesn't matter. I'm sitting in the park. Sun's coming up. It's going to ruin. I don't have a bunch of filters and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to work on that stuff as we move forward. But I've got some other things that are coming. I hope you guys stick with us on this journey. But I'm hoping you guys set the standard for your own family. Parents, you're going to have to, I know it's a risk. I know you're tired. I know you're not quite sure. You don't want to mess everybody up. But you can say, hey, we're going to go to this school. This is the school you grew up with. These are your friends. You guys are good enough. You guys are going to fight and try to beat them. Or, hey, we're going to go ahead and go over here and do this, but you're going to have to work really hard because it's going to be a lot of talented kids. And now you got to overcome some things, other talented kids, and it's not promised to you. And maybe that's the way you want to go. It doesn't matter to me which way you do it, but I just want you to do it in a way that has some integrity to it, that is not you trying to fight and flit around and get other people fired or complain or try to defeat that other kid or say something negative about them. All those things that we went through, and I know parents are doing that out of desperation and some out of looking good for other people. You don't want your kid is watching you. They know exactly what you're doing. And for all you coaches, I kind of gave you guys a break here, but some of you guys are going to have to go the extra mile. I know you're tired. I know the parents are a pain in the butt. I know the kids today are terrible compared to when you guys were kids or the kids previously, whatever you guys want to say. But you got to go the extra mile too. You got to give something back. You got to give people an opportunity. You got to let them know what's going on, what you're looking for, what you need. You're going to have to give more players playing time. It may cost you a game or two here and there. But you're going to say, hey, I saw all the work you're doing. Get in there. Can you do that? Can you hold your end of the bargain up? Because a lot of you won't do it. Why bother, you know? And you got another set of kids coming the next year. So these kids will be gone. They got about 4 years to come through. Most of them play varsity 2 years at max. And so you don't want to hear all of that. I get it. But that is the difference. If we want to help these kids be remarkable later, you got to have integrity. You've got to have a standard that you set. If you want to set that standard, you got to live by it. But let them know ahead of time. And don't be that closed door coach. Let people come in. Let them talk to you. See what's going on. Help them out. Be the hero too. You already have a piece of that. I don't think anybody has one of those. I think the balance of it is the one that's more important than anything else. All right, guys, let me get off my soapbox here. As always, best of luck to you guys in everything that you do as you move forward. And we'll talk to you next time.